Hey everybody, it's Sci-Fi Fan here again, and today I just wanted to take a few minutes here to talk about Soulframe. So Soulframe is a video game made by Digital Extremes, an upcoming video game, I should say. It's still in early access. The only people that can currently play it are people who are invited to play it via a Preludes key access, is what it's called. Something that you can get from watching different streams, something that you can also buy by becoming a founder of the Soulframe video game for I think it's about $100. You get some cosmetics and some other things in it as well. But anyways, Soulframe just had a huge trailer that took place at the annual TennoCon. TennoCon, of course, being for Digital Extreme's other video game, Warframe. Now, during the Soulframe appearance at TennoCon, the developers talked about a bunch of upcoming different things that are going to be happening in Soulframe later this year. Fallish is when it's going to be coming. They introduced a new boss called the Minic Rainbreaker. They also talked a little bit about a new mount system that's coming to the video game. Prior to this, if you were playing the early access version of Soulframe, you would basically have to run across the island of Midrath on the world of Alka, basically from area to area while you were farming for weapons. Soulframe in and of itself is an interesting video game concept. It's basically takes place in this fantasy world where aliens have invaded a medieval society on a planet called Alka, on an island called Midrath. And you, as an envoy, you are a Faken, which means you are part Fae, you have magic powers, that sort of thing. And you're fighting the Sinecure and the Ode. The Ode are the alien bad guys who are trying to capture all of the wild animals that are on Alka for some nefarious purpose. But anyways, I just kind of wanted to run through with you today on what we saw at through this trailer and some of the lore implications that some of these reveals could have. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm going to nerd out here a little bit and just start from the top about all the things that I saw during the Soulframe presentation at TennoCon. So one, mounts are coming. So in an earlier version of Soulframe, I started playing Soulframe last year around the August timeframe. I think I got in each wave of keys that they send out. They call it like a Preludes 10 or Preludes 11 or whatever, and that's kind of when major updates take place. I believe I was Preludes 10 when I started playing, so still pretty very early access. But during one of the early missions of Soulframe, you are essentially trying to rescue a group of wolf pups that are one of the wolf gods within the video game. Her cubs have gone missing and have been captured by the Sinecure or the Ode soldiers, and so it's your job to go in and rescue these pups. And the wolf from Soulframe looks exactly like the wolf from Princess Mononoke, or Mononoke. There's a lot of underlying themes that are present from Princess Mononoke within Soulframe. The Soulframe developers have talked about their inspirations from Princess Mononoke, and I've done a video on that, and I'll link that in the description below. But essentially, after you rescue these pups, you're allowed to keep one of the pups, and now this pup is now going to become your mount. But you'll have to do some work to gain the wolf's trust before you'll obviously be able to ride it around the island. You can actually pick one of four mounts or one of four wolf pups from that mission, but the developers, Digital Extremes, they have said that there will be more mounts coming in the future, probably of different species, whether fantasy or real, who knows. I can't wait to see what that brings. But they also showed how you'll be able to ride these mounts in a multiplayer match with your friends as well. They also introduced the Minic Rider boss, which is a new boss that you'll be able to fight. It looks like this is basically a knight on horseback who has been corrupted by ichor, which is the byproduct of sludge and pollution that has infected the planet of Alka due to the Sinecure mining and the Odin mining of the planet for its natural resources. But the major thing that they showed off during the TennoCon presentation is the one of the first war songs that you'll play. So war songs are sort of these mini tutorial missions or mini missions that show the background of the world that you're playing in and some of the background of the characters. This war song in particular showed off Baelor, who is a Tempest who works for the Ode. He is essentially a bad guy, an antagonist to our Envoy. At the end of the wolf mission that I was talking about earlier, you can see him picking one of the wolves for himself. He stole one of the wolves as well. In this new video that they showed here, it shows him having a red arm and sort of waking up in a Odin sky castle and going to talk to Lord Synod, who is the big bad in this case. He's the leader of the Sinecure on Alka. But during this conversation, something that's interesting to note is Lord Synod continuously refers to a different entity, an entity that is requiring basically a continuous tithe of creatures and wild creatures from Alka to be fed to it. And it was always kind of something that I had thought of before, or had an ongoing theory of, and that was the fact that the Sinecure, who we see in the game so far, they're only, they're like the lesser of an overarching evil that is kind of spreading throughout the galaxy or throughout this area. And so it's interesting because Lord Synod talks about how, it's not enough to feed this entity or to give this entity the wild creatures that they're currently capturing on the planet, but they need the blue blood. And, blue blood refers to the Faken or the Fae, the magical fairies, like creatures who inhabited Alka thousands of years ago before disappearing during the Felling. And the Felling was basically a war between the Fae and the humans on the planet Alka, and the humans obviously won against the Fae, and then they sort of went into hiding, and then the Fae disappeared for some reason. The blood of the Fae, though, can still be found in sort of mixed breeds of humans in Fae. These are called Faken. They have blue arms. Our Envoy, the player character, is one such example of a Faken. And so this new entity, it needs to know where the blue blood is and where, the Empress is and all this other good stuff. And so that was interesting. There was also a part of the war song where we got to see our mother, the character's mother, the Envoy's mother. Now, I'll also link to this video as well, but I did a previous video on the Night Maidens, and the Night Maidens are a group of warrior women who were the political power on Midrath, the island of Midrath, prior to the Ode arrival on Alka. And we get to see our mother just be a complete badass during this scene. She takes on, multiple Sinecure soldiers. She leads the Midrathian knights in sort of their defense of the castle. And we get to see her just kick some butt. And that was really cool to see. But then she comes up against Baelor for like this ending fight. And there's this music, this swelling song. And the music in Soulframe is just so awesome. Here, I'll pause here and let you listen to a little snippet of it. And so, at this swelling music, we see an explosion on the bridge. We see the handmaiden that took us away from our mother to safety. We see that she has been shot by arrows by a Sinecure hunter, and we see a beaver trying to nudge us, the Envoy, into a river as he's getting shot at. And then we see our basket kind of in this, it almost reminds me of watching Prince of Egypt, during the part where Moses is floating down the river, and you kind of get these Moses vibes as us being Faken or being magical, and it being the chosen one, being saved by this beaver that seemingly has some sort of connection to us and pushing us into the river. And then we see us as a character being taken in by I believe his name is Donovan Doyen. He's another Fae person, or a Faken, I should say. He's got a blue arm similar to us. He's got an eye patch, which that's kind of weird. We know at one point we were taken captive by the Ode and kind of forced into servitude to the Ode at some point in our player characters' lives. And so that this must come sometime in the teenage years before you see us playing the rest of the game. But we see our player character learning how to fish from Donovan Doiven, and the cool thing is fishing is going to be coming to Soulframe, but it's vegan fishing, so you catch and release, which kind of fits the overall theme that our character is sort of the protector of nature and the protector of all wild things. Um, and so that's kind of cool. And then, the end of the war song, I think, was the best part that I saw, which was this sort of juxtaposition between us as the envoy and our mother fighting Baylor at different time periods of time. It cuts and shows our mother fighting him on the bridge to, some music. And then all of a sudden, it cuts to a different music somebody else joins into the chorus here, and it shows us fighting Baylor, and then it splits between us and our mother fighting him, and it's just a fantastically awesome scene. Here, we'll take a look at it here real quick.
Gods then calling to the last one.
And then the end of the war song is, of course, us defeating Baylor. It appears that our mother somehow was able to transfer some sort of message into him for us or something, and break the spell, the Odin spell song that came over him, or over, I guess, the Night Maidens. But anyways, it shows us then taking Baylor's gauntlet, which is somehow able to have some sort of teleportation device or something that takes us to the Odin Sky Tower, and it looks like that is where we are going to be heading next. In the story, we are going to be going to the Sky Tower to fight the Sinecure on their home turf. Baylor, or not Baylor, but Baylor. He says there's no magic up there. That though there's no magic, our magic might not work. They're stronger up there. The Sinecure and the Ode are stronger up there. And so I'm really interested to see where the story takes us next, where the developers want to follow some of these story beats to. But all of this is coming fallish, is what Digital Extremes has said. They are, being very, very, I would say, from following them for the past year and a half, Digital Extremes is sort of just making slices of this video game. They're taking their time on it, which, of course, they don't really need to rush it. They've got an awesome game already, Warframe, which provides them, I'm sure, with a lot of additional funding or resources that they can also pull for this other game. But I am super excited to see where Soulframe is going in the future. I can't wait to hop back into Soulframe and play it again here this fall when the new mission comes out, when the new Vadigar pat comes out, this awesome sort of dark corruption pat that you can use. I can't wait to be able to ride the wolf that I chose months ago across Midrath and see what other updates the developers have chosen to bring into the game. And so this is definitely a game to look forward to and a game to keep your eye on if you haven't already been doing so. Well, that's all I have for today. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching.